Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for the season finale of Supernatural, All Along the Watchtower. And I really enjoyed this episode, and I'm intrigued to see where it's going to be going forward into season 13. So we kind of start off, and we see that Cass is standing near a lake and everything, and kind of looking out, and then we see this kind of cottage. And he kind of starts going back in, and we see that Kelly is and a heated phone conversation with the customer support for building this baby crib, and she's really pissed off. And the dude's like, well, maybe you didn't see it the first time. And she chucks the phone, just kind of pissed off and everything. And of course, Cass is like, I told you I'd do this. I'm good at following instructions. You should be resting. And she's like, no, listen, I can't be a mother to my son. So what I can do is build him a crib. And that's kind of her impetus to do something and leave something for her son. It's like, okay, cool. So then we get to see Sam, Dean, and Mary at the bunker, and Dean's like, okay, we beat the Brits, and we should be having a champagne party and everything, but instead we get Lucifer. And they're just like, yeah, I mean, that's usually how our luck goes. So, of course, they're trying to figure out ways to combat Lucifer. And they're like, all right, let's try and get Rowena on the phone and see what's going on with that. Of course, they call her cell phone. It shifts over, and we see this room that's got, blood and everything on it. And who picks up the phone? Lucifer. And we see this burned corpse, and we find out that Lucifer has killed Rowena. And he gets very descriptive, saying he stomped on her face till the white meat showed, and then burned the body just to be sure. Because that actually makes the most tactical sense in that scenario, because we don't know exactly what things Rowena has up her sleeves to come back. But I think that she's pretty much done here, barring bringing her out of hell as a demon to bring her back. So she's pretty much out of this scenario. And of course, Lucifer is just kind of gloating and everything, what can you guys do? You can't do anything. I've got my vessel. I don't need you anymore, Sammy. I just, of course, destroyed your only way to put me back in the cage. And I reiterate, what can you do? And of course, this leaves them in a predicament. And he's telling them that he's killed Crowley and all that. And they're, of course, I'll believe it when I burn the body myself. And then, of course, we see the whole spiel that was with, Crowley. And, of course, he went into the rat, went out, was able to get back in his body, seen him crawl out of the grave and all that. It's okay, cool. So, of course, they're trying to, figure out what to do next, and they're like, okay, we need to look for the Nephilim. By time, have the baby be born, or, get the grace and siphon it off. So we gotta look for, biblical stuff and all that. And, of course, then we get to see Crowley pop up, and he's like, hello, boys, and, of course, Dean just fucking goes over, hits him punches him out of the chair, and brings the knife up to him. He's like, did you do it? He's like, do what? Come on, Moose. He's like, alright, Dean, don't kill him yet. Yet. He could be useful. And he's like, damn. So, he goes into a spiel about why he did it. He's like, I wanted my own personal nuke. Everybody has been gunning for my throne. Abaddon, Lucifer, everybody. He wanted an assurance that he wouldn't be toppled again. And then, of course, he explains that after being in the rat and thinking about it, he hates his job. He hates just doing all the paperwork, dealing with the whining demons, the moans of souls, and all that stuff. And it was kind of cool to see Crowley come to this realization that he's not real. I mean, yeah, he does bad things, but he's been more help, usually, than most other kind of demons and bad guys. And that he doesn't really freaking like working and doing all this kind of stupid shit while everybody's just gunning after him to have the top seat. So he makes them the offer. Of course, I came here because I know when to place my bets on a world-ending scenario. I gotta lay them on you guys, you lumbering piles of flannel. And he's like, okay, I know that you guys will do it, and I'll sweeten the deal for you. I'll close the gates of hell. You'll never see another demon again. Of course, yours truly. And that's how he secures their help and all that. So that's kind of where we see them going and where we're kind of left off at the moment. We also get an important scene where we see that Cass and Kelly are coming back from an excursion, and she's like, the checkout guy kind of looked at us funny, and we see that they bought all these diapers, and Cass is like, I've read 74 child rearing books, and they all agree that everybody poops. And then, of course, Kelly has a pain and grabs onto the truck, and then, of course, Cass takes her into the house, but we see this golden glow go into the truck and then leave and go out back. And then, of course, we see Kelly kind of making a video saying how much she loves Jack, which is the name that she wants to give the son when he's born and all that, and saying how much that she loves him and all that. And then while she's doing this, we see that Cass is like trying to like console her and everything, talking about what's going on. And then Cass eventually goes outside, and we see this light, this kind of like strange oscillating thing. Cass goes to touch, and he touches it, and he's transported to this other kind of hellscape, and it's, because it's dark, red lightning's flashing, you see these kind of pillar things where some people are impaled, and then you see this kind of weird looking demon dude coming at Cass, and then somebody with a shotgun shoots it and kills it, and then Cass looks at him and says, "You?" And then it's like, whoa. And of course this leads him to, of course, talking with Kelly again. She's like calling for him because she feels more like contractions and everything, or like tremors or whatnot. And she's like looking for him everywhere. He's like, "Oh no, I was nowhere." And they just kind of like start preparing and everything, and just kind of like getting ready to get through this whole process. Cass telling her the like paradise that the child showed him and all that, and just kind of getting everything set up for the end. Then we see that the Winchesters are doing their research, and Crowley's sitting back drinking, and he's like, "So this is what you guys do?" Type. And he's like, "Yep." It's like, okay, what are we seeing? They make reference to a two-headed calf. It's like, oh, that's weird, but not biblical. Hey, whole power went out on the northwest. It's like, okay, it was kind of traced to a property rented by James Novak. That's Cass. Let's go. And then, of course, Dean takes the knife and stabs it through Crowley's hand to keep him on the table. It's like, I don't trust you, what you did. You're going to sit here, and we're going to just do what we need to. And, of course, that makes sense with Dean. He's pissed off because the last time they tried to do something with Lucifer, Crowley frickin' hijacked him and put him in a vessel of his own making. That, of course, could hold Lucifer. It's like, you could have at least made it like degrade or something, or fail-safe to kind of inject him back to the cage since you built it out of cage-like materials. Actually would have been a really good thing to do, fail-safe-wise, but Crowley thinks of most things, but not everything, especially not him switching up the spell that was like bounding him to controlling Lucifer. Which, that could have also been taken into effect, but I still like where they were going throughout the whole episode. So, of course, Kelly's doing her stuff, the Winchesters get there, Cass is like, what the hell is going on? They're like, okay, I know this place is warded, but is it warded strong enough to stop Lucifer? Like, Lucifer? Yeah, he's out and about and all that kind of crap, so we're gonna have to do this. Of course, Mary goes up to check on Kelly. Cass boops Dean to heal his legs. He's like, oh, thanks. And he's like, hold on, because they're like going to check the ward and everything. Sam looks out and says, what's that? It's like, that's a tear in space and time. It's like, oh, that's never good. It leads to another world. What, like Narnia? No, another parallel Earth. Oh, Bizarro Earth, kind of like where we were on the TV show and the actors and all that. I love it when they do callbacks like that. So, of course, he takes them in, and we find out that this is an Earth that the Winchesters never saved. And the apocalypse has happened, and angels and demons are fighting, and the humans are caught in the middle. And we find out that the person that it came up to Cass is Bobby, and it was like, yay! Even if it's an alternate Bobby, it was cool to see Bobby again. And this kind of like different take on Bobby. And he's talking about like, well, when this thing opened up, all my alarms went off. I came here, saw the flyboy here, and a tempter demon shot him, and of course they're talking about like, yeah, they've got horns, pointed teeth, and everything. It's like, demons are really weird here. And he's like, okay, well, I didn't take out Cass because usually that's one of my hobbies and passions, taking out angels. Well, he looked different, and he wasn't wearing a necklace made out of baby's ears. It's like, dang. I mean, our supernatural angels are dicks. That's a whole nother level. So he also talks about like Mary Winchester, well, Mary Campbell, because John Winchester died 40 years ago in this world, and of course Mary was killed 10 years prior to this point in time, and of course Bobby was like with her, not with her, but like every once in a while they'd like get together, drink and all that, and she'd lament about the death of John Winchester. And they're just like, whoa, this world's kind of screwed up. He's like, well, I got Rufus here with like 100 bullets made from discarded angel blades. And he's like, wow, angel killing bullets? Awesome. And it's like, he's like, okay, not time and place. So of course, they kind of go back to the other side and they're like, Cass, this is like Omega level crap. We've got the fabric of reality being ripped to shreds because of this kid. And we got Lucifer coming. And of course, Crowley pops up like, alright, it's cool. We got this. So of course, they're all gathering together and figuring out what to do next. So that kind of sets in motion. Kelly's going through her stuff. Mary's helping her out, saying like, I'm dying. Wouldn't you die for your boys? And she like nods and all that. So that kind of like does its own thing for a little bit. And we see that, of course, Cass, Dean, and Sam kind of go out to confront Lucifer, and he's like, oh, so we're going to do this? And Sam's, of course, like, God's going to stop you just like he did last time. He's like, oh, no, he walked. And so this is just another toy-breaking scenario for you. Yeah, I look at this, and I can do better. So, of course, then it starts the whole thing. Cass tries to bum rush him with an angel blade and gets thrown over. And then we see Sam and Dean just, like, bolt around back. And, of course, Lucifer's like, I would really want to get in and, like, rip you guys apart, but kind of on the clock here, gonna have to deal with the little slugger coming in. And he's like, what is that? And, of course, they're on the other side. Sam kind of distracts him for a little bit. And then, of course, Dean comes out with Rufus, Bobby's gun, and is like, say hello to my little friend, and just starts shooting Lucifer with it to see if it does anything to him. While this is going on, Sam is scampered off out of the way so he doesn't get shot, and of course, Crowley has come up with a way to seal the rip. And he's like, come on, Crowley, hurry up, hurry up. He's like, okay, it just needs one other thing. Minor ingredient, a life. So, of course, the bullets don't do anything. Lucifer's kind of like pounding on him a little bit, and of course, Crowley kind of throws him off, and he's like, I just can't wait to get that smug grin off your face. And then, of course, the boys are at the rip, and Crowley kills himself to complete the ritual. It was like a really big moment for Crowley. I'm like, crap! There's another supporting cast member. It's like, holy crap, what's going on? But it worked within Crowley's case because it showed a definite arc that we've seen throughout the years of him becoming a good guy. Now, granted, he's a dick, but it's showing that even if you're born something, that doesn't inherently make you a monster. The choices and what you do define if you're a monster or not. Like the British men of letters were human, but they had monstrous tactics. And seeing kind of like Crowley kind of prove that and like sacrifice himself to kind of stop this crap was kind of cool. And of course, he was doing it to spite Lucifer and trap him in another hell dimension. It's like, yeah, that's Crowley. Before this, like, happens and, like, seals the whole spell and everything, Cass comes in and pretty much goes up and, like, stabs Lucifer. And, of course, the boys get out of the rip, and then Cass comes out, and then, of course, Lucifer comes out and stabs Cass in the back, and that's the end of Cass. It was like, no! It really sucked. I know Cass has died a lot of times, but this looked bad, because I don't know how this is going to work out. He's probably going to come back in a certain way because, of course, we've got another dimension. We could have another dimension Cass. We could have Lucifer's son bring him back. We could have God bring him back. We'll have to see where that plays out. But it was pretty effective to see him go down like this. It's like, holy crap. Of course, Lucifer's bragging and everything. Of course, we've seen that the kid was pretty much born. Mary got knocked out but woke back up and came down. Has her Nokia brass knuckles on and says, I love you boys, and then, of course, does what she wanted to do and punches Lucifer in the face and keeps doing it, and, of course, they both get dragged into the rip, and it gets sealed up. And, of course, Lucifer's pissed off and, like, looks at Mary with the red irised eyes that he's got, and it's like, I don't know if Mary's gonna make it out of this one. Of course, it was better that we had another Winchester in the mix to be thrown off into another dimension or to try and get back out because we've been doing the tag team of Sam and Dean for a while. It was kind of refreshing to have another take. And then seeing them, Sam, of course, look into the house and see the light and everything, and Dean look into the sky, kind of like making it look like he was praying to God or looking for God, and then looking at Cass's corpse and seeing him affected that way was really cool because Cass has been like almost an official Winchester brother throughout everything that he's gone with Sam and Dean. So it's a pretty big loss to have him gone at this moment, especially since he would be the best to take care of a Nephilim. So now it's pretty much fallen to the boys to do that. Of course, Sam goes in the house and sees Kelly's corpse and then follows these burnt footprints into Jack's room, and we see a kid of about like 7 to 10 years old in the corner, gold irises, and gives him kind of a creepy smile. So it's like, okay, 2 men and a Nephilim. That's not going to go bad at all. So that's where it ends, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to do like season 13, because they're really going to have themselves on their toes to try and deal with trying to raise not just a kid, but a kid that can alter reality and everything and have powers that they don't even know how to train him for. They're going to really have to get somebody from possibly like heaven or something, and then all the demons are going to be after him because it's like they're going to be our new Lucifer. And of course all the angels will probably be after him to like stop him and kill him as an aberration. Or of course there could be other factions that are like, you could be the new kind of archangel part because there's no archangels left. God's gone off with his sister for a little bit. This is the intriguing stuff, and hopefully they really dig into it the next season, but they ended at a pretty effective spot for setting up a cool, interesting season while wrapping up the current kind of like problems and arcs very well. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.